Hey Jason, we picked a really nice campsite last night.
Moto photo adventures in the field.
In the field.
At my aunt and uncle's house. Aunt Debbie and Uncle Doug let us stay in their house for our trip up to Ohio for the Wayland Wayne. So
Wayland-Wayne weekend.
So we're gonna hunker down here for a little while and go to Mount Airy and visit Mayberry.
Boonville. Is that a cool name or what?
It is a cool name. I like Boonville.
Why did we pick Boonville?
I didn't pick it. They picked it. They live here.
But we were heading to
Mount Airy.
Mount Airy. We're going to be in Mount Airy today. Check out Mayberry.
Yep, might go to Pilot Mountain, which is Mount Pilot if you watch Mayberry. Anywho, at this particular moment, on an early Sunday morning, we decided, since we just got some new gear.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it yet, check out our previous video about we are quitting GoPro.
Done. Kaput. No go GoPro. So what we've done here is, since we haven't sold them yet, and we haven't gotten rid of them yet, and this is the last adventure that we will have the GoPro 360 because it's unreliable. Have you started recording on those?
No.
Well, let's go do that.
Has yours started?
Yes, but I'm unsure if it's in 360 mode. Oh, it is. Fantastic. All right, back to start.
Tap the lens and make sure it's working.
Yes. Oh, tink, tink, tink. So that's what we're going to do, is we're going to test the differences between the GoPro 360s on your left and the Insta X4 on your right. So we're just going to walk and talk and see what happens as it does.
Sure. Before we do go, you had a chance to kind of set things up.
Yes.
Seemed pretty straightforward. Any questions?
No, it wasn't. I mean, if you know a little bit about video, you can go through the menu pretty quickly, setting the resolution and the frame rates and the lens perspective and all of those kinds of things. It's really pretty self-explanatory. If you don't know a whole lot about video, auto. Pretty much how that works, right?
But you did set a couple of custom things so that you can access certain menus really fast.
And it goes through, as you go through the menu, it does say you want to set up the quick keys. There's a cue on the side that you can assign. If you hit that button, it assigns something. And there's a couple of buttons on the front. One is a record button, and the other one is also an assignable. So you could either assign it to switch between photo and video. You can assign it to be switch between one lens versus 360. You can, all those kinds of things.
And that's one of the things you put in your quick cue, because that's probably the biggest attraction for us for the X4 is the old method with the 360 camera from GoPro is you could use it as a 360 camera and it was great, but when you switched it to single lens view, it dumbed it down to 1080p.
Right, we can get 4K on this other one.
With the Insta 360, yeah, you get 360, but
Speaking of 360, we can talk and walk.
When you switch it to single lens mode, you get
4K.
4K. But
it also the X4 actually records 360 and 8K if you want it, which is gargantuan for us. So we did 5.7, because we're going to put it in a smaller timeline than that.
And natively, the GoPro, which is what I'm talking to, is 5.6K. So that's going to give the Insta 360 the same resolution that we've had in.
So here we are looking at the 360 GoPro and the X4 over there, walking around in different places. We're looking for picture quality. We're looking for
lens distortion.
Lens distortion. Now we're not going to change the lenses during this record. They're both set on super wide, basically, because that's what we have them on the motorcycles.
Yeah.
But the other thing that we're looking for is how well do the mics pick up from this distance? Because right now we're talking on lapel mics into the camera over there for them. But as we walk around these, how good do these mics pick up?
All right. Well, you talk into the 360 from GoPro.
Talking into the 360 from GoPro. Now, there are on the GoPros, there's a microphone on the front, there's microphones on the side, there's a microphone on this side.
I think it's actually got 6 microphones all around it.
Very cool, very cool. I don't know how that is with only 3 holes, but okie dokie, maybe it's a left-right channel. But then over here on the Insta, there's a microphone on the left and a microphone on the right. So that's kind of cool.
So now we're listening to the audio from the Insta 360 is what you're saying. From the Insta 360 X4.
So keep talking and see if the Max can hear you from there.
Hi Max. Hi Insta.
So I'm talking over here to the 360
And I'm talking over here to the X4, and you can tell I'm only probably about, what, 3-4 feet away?
Something like that.
If I come way
6
over
feet.
here, now I'm more like 6 or 8 feet away.
Oh, that's 12 feet.
12 feet.
See, here's an interesting aside. Your arms, like Vesuvius Man or whatever his name, Vitruvius Man from, your wingspan is supposed to be your height. So I'm about 6 feet tall. So this is 6 feet right here.
Okay.
So you're about 12, 13 feet away from that one.
I'm about a basketball free throw away.
10 feet is a basketball goal. So there you go. So that's basically the, also, here's another good test. I'm standing directly on the axis, on the cut point of the 360 at this point. Perhaps you can see the line.
But
Not
you're,
sure.
yeah, you're pretty far away, and I'm on the X point, the X4's.
So so we go to there,
split
go over to
line.
that side, and I'm standing on the axis point. Let's see how good that works. Does it cut my face in half? Does it stitch really well? Things like that.
Now walk closer to it in that access point, and I'll do the same.
Yep.
At some point, you should start seeing some
At some
distortion.
point, we should start splitting our faces.
Yeah.
Cool.
Now the other cool part is, so right now you're on the X4's full, like light is hitting you full on, and I'm backlit over here. Now
Right.
come to the other side, and let's see how the X4 does for backlight versus the Max now with front light.
Got it. Another little interesting feature on the X4 that the Max doesn't do is while you're recording on the X4, you can actually thumb around on the screen and and move the view to see what the 360 is actually getting to check the seams and all of that.
Right.
That was very interesting, all the way up and down and everywhere. So that was kind of neat.
And it is a big LCD screen, which is nice
It
too.
It is. We haven't worked out all of the different features of the X4 yet.
Brand new, like literally just set it up last night.
That's right. So we're going to still work. This part of this trip is, since it's we're going to an event rather than taking a long trip, we're using this opportunity to test it out and see what the functions are. Now, one of the things that I did set on it that is kind of important if you're riding a motorcycle is to make sure you turn on the on record button. So if you hit the button to record, it automatically turns the camera on and starts recording. You don't want to have to power it up, then hit the button. So there's an option in there to turn that on.
Quick something or other.
Yeah, quick record or whatever it's called, but you'll find it.
So you guys already, those of you who have an X4, give us some tips. Let us know what you guys have found since we've just gotten it and have not had a chance to play with it. Give us some tips, leave a comment, let us know what your settings are, some things like that.
Yep.
All right, let me give you a little bit more information about the files that we use and the positives and negatives about GoPro over Insta, X4 or X4 over GoPro. But look here, so what I did with the GoPro, number one, a positive point about the Insta X4. You do not have to conform it. In GoPro, before you can put it into an editing timeline like Adobe Premiere or whatever, you have to conform the GoPro. So you take the original GoPro 360 file and you open it up in the GoPro app, and then you set the export settings. Now, that's kind of important because that determines the quality and the file size. So here's what we've got. This is what I did. We recorded 5.6K on both of them. So the GoPro, I think, is 5.6 and the Insta is 5.7 or vice versa. I can't remember. Close enough for government work, if you know what I'm saying. So when we took the GoPro file and we opened it up and we were doing the export to conform it, I set these settings. 5.6 resolution, ProRes, 422 LT. It's the LT ProRes. So ProRes is the best. You can go down to H.264 to save some file size, but for this test, I wanted a decent enough quality with a decent enough file size that it wasn't just going to jam up everything. So I used ProRes 422 Lite, LT, I call it Lite. The bit rate was set automatically, world lock is set, and the horizon level is set. It was 5,376 by 2,688. The GoPro ProRes ended up to be 7 minutes and 51 seconds. Okay, now, it also, when you conform it, you now have two files. We have the original GoPro file, the 360, which is 3.91 gigabytes. Okay, that's the original one that you can't do anything with, except run it in the GoPro app. The ProRes conformed to the settings that I have, which is a couple of steps before the below right, the best, is another 38.19 gigabytes. So you now have essentially 40 gigabytes for a 7.51, a 7 minute and 51 second clip. Okay. Here's where the Insta X4 is cool. Number one, it ended up being 7 minutes and 45 seconds. 6 seconds shorter, let's call it even. This is a file that is 527.7 megabytes. Megabytes. Okay? So that's all there is. Just like that. You don't have to conform it. There's no additional step. It took a long time to conform the GoPro. Can't remember, maybe 15 minutes. So 2 minutes per, I wasn't paying attention. I went and watched YouTube. So I didn't, but it's another step. It's time and it's added storage space that you're going to have for that. The next spot is when you drag it into the timeline, you then have to drop the filter onto it so that you can edit it. And they both edit exactly the same way, but you use the GoPro filter on both of them, Insta and the regular GoPro. But see what I'm saying? The extra step, the extra storage, the extra time to get the same product that Insta already gives you if you have the filter. Now you do have to download the Insta X4 app. I don't know really why, if you're going to be editing in Adobe Premiere or DaVinci Resolve or any of those things. They seem to play the same on the timeline, rendered or unrendered, so I don't know what's up with that. But there you go. In my book, if you look at the quality and the seam and the audio, which, you know, whatever, just those factors right there, the storage, the time, and the file, and the time, the file size, and all of that, the extra steps don't make it worth it. So no go GoPro is still go.
So from the Shyre, hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the notification, leave a comment, etc., etc. If you've got one of these, let us know how you like it. If you got one of those, let us know how much you hate it. And that's it from the Moto Photo Gang, huh?
That's it for today.
Photo adventures.
Lots of fun adventures coming up, and of course, check the playlist when you see this drop. We should be starting to release episodes from the Wailing Wayne weekend, which is going to be a blast.
Also, go watch the Africa one and donate. Thanks.
Thanks. Thanks, guys.
Photo adventures is on the road.